October solicits are pretty big for this month because this also kind of coincides with Comic-Con and DC announcing a bunch of stuff this week. They're kind of doing a big, a big push, a big line refresh, not a reboot, and some runs are still continuing from what they currently are, but there's some new teams on some books, some new number ones, and this is kind of their next initiative, like a Rebirth or like a Dawn of DC, where they've got like a label to sort of put everything under and promote as an event of not like a comic book event in the traditional sense, but an event as in like, hey, jumping on point for a bunch of things.
Like, yeah, it's like a guidepost in the grand scheme of DC.
So
this is more like some of the Marvel, like all new, fresh start. Or whatever,
yeah, that's true. It's called DC All In. That's what they're going with. So we're going to start working through solicits. First up here, and I'll probably read the description for this, well, some of it anyway, to get a sense of what this is. But we have DC All In Special Issue 1, written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson. Art by Daniel Sampere and Wes Craig. So this is a one-shot, 64 pages, $5. Clearly meant to be your Rebirth style one-shot to kind of kick everything off and set up possibly this absolute stuff, which we're getting to in a minute here as well, which we'll talk about. But here's the description on the solicits here. Following the events of DC's blockbuster storyline Absolute Power, the heroes of the core DC universe have fought against the deep divisions in the world around them to usher in a new era of unity. And it's just in time too, because Darkseid has returned.
Somehow.
Do we remember like why he wasn't around?
Yeah, the Dark Crisis. Not Dark Crisis, the lead up to Dark Crisis, the Dark Energy.
Oh, I vaguely remember that now. Yeah, he's crack. Because his crack was a big factor.
Darkseid's crack. Yeah. He was hunting for the crack.
That's right. He had his crack, and then I don't know who's funny to say was raw dogging it, but someone was raw dogging.
I can't remember that event well enough to.
No, can I?
So he ended up dying because the what's his name, Pariah, used that energy,
Yeah, I've learned because I saw people like talking about this announcement right earlier a couple of days ago, and I realized that there's a type of comic book fan on the internet that I'm just not. Because one of the first things I saw was someone saying, "Oh God, Darkseid's back already," and my reaction was like,
"He left?
He was gone?" I just didn't remember that. I'm like, I couldn't get mad at it. I'm like, okay.
That's because in the long run, the vast majority of these, like, especially now they're becoming like annual or even twice a year, these events, they're fine while you're reading them, but they're very forgettable after a year.
Anyway, so yeah, Darkseid's back, and we're good. Yeah, so Superman must gather every hero on Earth to hold the line against a very different version of the Lord of Apocalypse, as they raise our cosmic defenses and prepare for war. And when the first blow lands, shockwaves will ripple through the DCU and shake the nature of their reality to its very core. But little did they know, greater threat is still to come, for there is another Earth, the absolute universe. Absolute and ultimate are very similar words, aren't they?
Yep.
That's all I could think. Here, DC's biggest icons are coming of age with fewer advantages and facing greater opposition than ever before, while miraculously retaining their immutable heroism that inspired fans for decades, blah, 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 blah. All right. So as much as I sound cynical as I read that second half, I will say some of the teams on these new alternate versions of, these absolute books are quite intriguing, so I'm not mad. I
would say I'm intrigued in the individual books. This one shot sounds awful. If that at the same time,
it's I mean, honestly, it sounds like it's just going to this one shot sounds like a tease for an event we're going to get in a year.
This sounds like something that should have been a free comic book day issue.
Except it's 60 pages.
Obviously that does kind of.
And art by Sampere. So
Sampere art's not a bad thing. I will say Scott Snyder being back in mainline DC Comics is obviously he's got a book as well we'll talk about in a minute, but like that is a bit of a return. He's been gone for a little bit. His Justice League run was quite some time ago now.
Doesn't feel like it.
But it has been like.
No, I know it has. It feels like it's compared to some of the other stuff. It feels like it was more recent, I guess.
I don't know. I do think it feels like a while ago. I feel like we've not seen Snyder in a while.
We haven't, but I think it's just because I think it was a pretty healthy run, right? It was a good amount of issues. So it lives a little bit longer in the memory than pretty much anything else that Justice League's had since.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think Williamson being the core of this is probably my biggest like.
That is a concern.
You know.
I think what my real concern is okay. Snyder, we'll get to why, but is probably in charge of the absolute stuff.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which means Williamson's in charge of the mainline stuff. Which, yeah.
Which is funny because I was just saying in the last couple of weeks that I really liked the Beast World and now Absolute Power. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the name was. Like those two back to back, it was really refreshing to have creators I like on the events because I've been really enjoying the last couple of events. So it's just kind of funny that Williamson's just like hovering over like a specter, just waiting to pounce once again.
Remember the start of this show when Matt was so excited for
Oh
Williamson?
yeah, he was like way into Williamson.
Mm-hmm. And then I got through his Flash run, and I got through some of his other stuff, and you realize that this is why you don't worship people, because people are flawed, you know. So
yeah. So yeah, I don't have. I mean, obviously the sort of 2-page cover they've put out of this does look pretty for the most part.
Yeah.
It is interesting though because they've actually got some different artists on this based on particularly or at least the design is based on like the Absolute Batman, and I feel like because it's Drago art that it's based on, he sticks out really like heavily compared to every other character. He's so chunky. Versus,
I think Absolute Batman is just a chunky boy.
Yeah, hey,
he's a husky.
I mean,
He's built big, built different.
That's fine. A few variants there as well, and they're all like double page things as well. They're all wraparounds.
I really like whatever the second one is. I don't know whose it is, but so the first variant that Newsarama has.
I like the one after that as well with the Darkseid with his Omega beams.
With Darkseid.
It's nice, but I don't think any of them. I think that first one that I said is like leagues above it still.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously something that, you know, has to be read if you're keeping up with DC in general, because it's going to set up whatever they're going to be doing for a while and probably tease what the actual real event story is going to be with Darkseid. I imagine next summer would be my guess. That'll be when we finally get to that story that they'll tease for a year. So that's all fine. So that leads us to Absolute Comics, right? Which is, we've got 3 of these so far. Wouldn't surprise me if we see some more over the next few months of Solicits if they introduce some other characters. But we're getting the Trinity and new comics. We're getting Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. And these range in terms of like excitement depending on how you like the creators. Obviously, they're all effectively just, here's the character, but Bruce Wayne doesn't have money. Or here's the character, but Wonder Woman doesn't have, you know, Themyscira.
My favorite one is Absolute Batman description. Without the mansion, without the money, without the butler, what's left is the absolute Dark Knight. I'm like, well, until the last issue of Batman, that was the mainline Bruce as well.
You're not wrong.
That's a fair point. So
yeah, but this Bruce is a chunky boy, so
he is.
You know, his cardio might not be at it either. He might, you know, he falls.
Does a lot more lifting though.
Yeah.
This is he's a big boy. But the teams on these, so Absolute Batman is Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta, right? Absolute Superman is Jason Aaron and Rafa Sandoval, which I'm sure is piquing Matt's interest.
Very much.
Although the one that got me excited was Absolute Wonder Woman because Kelly Thompson's got another DC book, and I am pleased with that. Hayden Sherman on the art for this one.
And Wonder Woman has a big ass sword.
Yeah.
You can't see it on that cover, but in a lot of the other promo art. You can see it on the All-In special.
She looks like she's riding a Thestral on that cover. Like it's a big skeletal horse.
Oh yeah, it kind of does.
Right?
Yeah, I would never have known what to call that, but evil-looking Pegasus was where I would probably have went with my description.
So it's pretty clear to me that this is their latest attempt at their Earth 1 equivalents, right?
Yeah, but this is actually like the Ultimate Marvel stuff in that it's actually ongoing comic books.
Yes, as opposed to one OGN like every 3 years.
Right, and this feels like they're all part of the same network, right? Like,
yes.
You know, because it seems like the absolute universe seems to be the universe of without, because that's how all the Solicits are, right? So without the money, and then when he gets to Superman, it's like without the fortune, without the family, and then Wonder Woman was without Island Paradise, without the sisterhood.
It's funny.
So,
in some ways, it's almost like an even more extreme version of New 52, and we're stripping them of their relationships and all that. But of course, this doesn't piss us off in quite the same way, because this is an addition to still getting the regular universe.
If we don't like this, we can keep reading the other book.
If you don't like Absolute Batman, you can keep reading Zdarsky's Batman.
That's a bad example.
That's the funniest thing Connor's ever said. Because there's some news that's going to come out of this that makes me be like, okay.
Everyone's favorite book, right?
So yeah, I do kind of expect that we might see a few more new Absolute Green Lantern, Absolute Flash, maybe. I don't know. It depends how much they want to expand.
I think we'll probably get 6 issues of these before we get the next ones.
Yeah, I can see that. It is worth mentioning as well that it does seem that they are going to come into play with the main universe in some way because of the all-in stuff. Like, whether that means they're going to end up fighting our heroes at some point down the line, or well, I don't know. But so it seems like they are going to do some multiverse stuff to actually bring these into a story with the main universe at some point. So,
which has me a little bit. I'm not concerned, but I'm just like a little bit irritated. Like, can't you just let it be its own thing for a bit first? Like, before you go, oh yeah, John, we can. When the sales are dwindling, now we can cash in and cross over.
I know, but it does feel like there's a plan to it, though. It doesn't feel like they're just doing the breaking case of emergency type thing. So even if they just cross over and it's ultimately they split again,
it feels.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, it feels mapped out right now. How long these last will probably depend on how well they sell, how well people like them. Like, I think obviously they'll make it until whatever event they've got planned that they're involved in. Do any of them exist after that as like individual comics? That I think that's just entirely like on how well do they do up until that point.
I think it's worth noting that whether or not you're excited individually for any of these teams, they are all objectively pretty big names that should sell pretty well, even beyond just it being the Trinity, so they inherently sell quite well anyway. I think they've got high-profile teams on them, which will also drive sales. So, the quality might be, for all we know, it'll be terrible in all three. It's unlikely, but it could be. But I think sales will initially be pretty strong just based off of those teams.
I also think, this is a slightly cynical take on it, but it's a way to have another Bat book, another Super book, and another Wonder book, and those characters, especially Batman, but even Super and Wonder Woman versus a lot of the other characters sell better. So this is another way of saying, hey, we've got more with those characters in it that we can sell. And they're fresh jumping on points as well, so that's also something they love.
That seemed to be the big news coming out, that they kept hitting the jumping on points.
Yes.
So
they've done this before, though. Where they say, oh yeah, look, this is all a fresh jumping on point, and sometimes it's just not. They just say
something
that.
It's a lie, yeah.
So a lot of these books we're going to talk about, there's new teams, and obviously, sure, the numbering's continuing, but that is a fresh jumping on point. Some of them, I will remain to be seen.
Right, let's move on to some good news. And good news that I believe we predicted. What do you mean, kind of?
Well, when I just read the solicit, it made me less excited. But
I trust them. I trust them. Okay,
yes, I know, but still.
Right. Detective Comics 1090, start of the new run. We have Tom Taylor with Mikkel Janin on the new run. I think when we were theorizing who could take over for Ram V, we were like, hey, Taylor's Nightwing run's coming to an end. He could very easily be that stepping up to that book. And here it is, plain as day. Super excited.
I would say I'm a little bit disappointed about Janin, and not because I dislike it. I love Janin art, but I've got a lot of Janin Batman work already over the years. I would have liked someone new and different.
No, but you say that, but I am not used to Janin on traditional Batman, right?
What do you mean? He was on Scott Snyder's traditional Batman for years.
But like as the main artist, or was he popping in and out?
I think he did a good amount in the back half, didn't he? Like he did like.
I put a lot of that behind me.
Oh, in the back half, you're talking about when the Robo-Bat bunny thing was a thing? I mean, I'm not counting that.
He did a lot when Capullo wasn't on it. It was he was like the second artist I think of with that one.
I'm just saying that I love what Tom Taylor did with Nightwing. I liked what Yannon did with Grayson. So now you're gonna have them do Bruce in Detective, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Also, there is a couple of great variants on this as
I
well.
really like the last one.
Yeah, that last one, whoever this is, that one is fantastic.
Well, it's a gothic one where he looks like he's hanging.
Yeah, the really
Yes.
scratchy one.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the Ashley Wood one just because
Yeah.
it's last.
The
Mhm.
Smallwood one from the page before, or the variant before. At least I think that's Smallwood. It looks
Yeah.
Smallwood.
Looks Smallwood.
Yeah.
It's very square jaw.
Yeah.
Batman.
Smallwood's not listed in the covers.
He's not, but I'm pretty sure I saw him tweet this cover out. So,
Oh, well, fair enough.
so I think they've just that's just an absence because there's more variants there than there is variant covers.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
the signature at the bottom. That looks like a P that it starts with. So is that not? I don't know. It doesn't look like Panosian style though, but that's the only one there with a P.
Yeah, it looks Spalswoody. I thought I saw him tweet this. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I thought.
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah, I mean the description is just the generic, like something from Batman's past, when the day he became Batman is coming back to haunt him, right?
I see the names Thomas and Martha and
I
Crime
know,
Alley,
I
and I
know.
immediately want to throw bricks.
I think this is just generic solicit text. I'm not.
Yeah. Again,
Why?
like you said, I trust. We trust Taylor. He is our patron saint on the show, right?
I trust
But-
Taylor, and not only that.
Yes.
No,
I actually checked the cover. What I did is I went to League of Comic Geeks, who have all the solicits up on there already with the covers with the eyes listed. It's shockingly they've got it listed as Bruno Redondo.
oh, that's the Redondo cover.
That's the Redondo.
I can see how that. I can see how that cover would be Redondo.
I guess,
What's
yeah, I
with the
guess I
name?
can.
I mean,
I don't feel bad for thinking that was Smallwood though. It's got a very Smallwoody kind of.
It is Smallwoody, but I was like, that
Yeah.
signature does not match. But yeah,
oh, man, remember Human Target?
It's not a P
That
as
was so
well though,
good.
just for the record.
no, it's a B going
That
into
is
an
also an
R,
R.
which is hey, come on, at that tiny amount, like that looks like a P.
Right. Anyway,
The man needs glasses, Pete. Cut him a break.
Christ.
Regardless that it's small on Newsarab, but I can see it clearer on League Comic Geeks.
Anyway,
Okay.
what I was going to say to actually make a goddamn point about this is that not only have we seen him what he's done with Dick Grayson, we've even seen him add stuff into Dick Grayson's origin and it feel natural and feel good. Everything with Heartless and how he ties into the day Dick's parents died was actually really effective and well done. So he's earned a good amount of trust.
Yes, but I'm still cautious with all this stuff. Ever since that night in Crime Alley, I'm like,
I'm keeping the bricks close in case I have to throw them through a
Wait,
window.
all I'm saying is we're seeing pearls.
We probably will. The first goddamn panel's probably pearls crashing on the alley ground, right? It's probably happening.
Yeah.
But I still have a modicum of faith that Taylor's going to do just fine with a Batman run.
Overall, I'm still optimistic, but
Yeah.
I think this is just a case of like a super generic solicit text that Taylor
I hope
himself probably didn't write. Right? This is probably some intern writing the solicit text out. I don't
hopefully.
know. Anywho, as Detective, big new run, exciting. Absolute Power issue 4, which I'm assuming is the last issue, given that All In's a thing this month.
The shocking grand finale to the Absolute Power saga.
There you go.
So yeah,
So yeah, obviously that's Wade and Mora, as we expect. So cool. Batman 153, Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, still on their run, but it is a new arc, of course, beginning with this issue.
yeah, and it's goddamn double shipping.
I might be out on Batman, guys. If I have to pick between Absolute Batman and Zdarsky Batman, the choice is not difficult.
I mean, you don't have to pick between them necessarily yet, Matt. We're not at that point. We're in the solicits. You're jumping
Yes,
the
I
gun
know.
because you always jump the gun. Calm down.
Yeah, that's what I
Also-
do.
Matt doesn't drop books; he just reads more and more, even when he's miserable.
Yes. Yes. He'll
You know
keep
what? I'll
reading.
show you. I'm going to stop reading Batman.
All right,
He's
I'll
not.
believe when I see it.
He's not.
Wait, what's this? Who's Commander Star? I need to know.
I'm not even reading the solicit text.
Uh,
Carmine Di Domenico on
Yeah.
the second issue.
154, yeah.
Yeah.
And Superman 19, start of a new arc. It's still Williamson, though, although Dan Mora is joining him on Superman.
hey.
And also Lois Lane is now Superwoman, so that's a thing
Again.
that's happening. Well, hold on
Yeah.
a second. That was New 52 Lois Lane you're thinking of last time.
Yes, but still, Lois is
It's more just we're doing quite interesting stuff with Lois right now. Making her the editor.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this angle. I just conceptually hate this angle.
I'm not saying I love it. I was
jumping
just
the gun.
correcting something you said that was incorrect because I enjoy doing that. But
But it wasn't incorrect.
Technically, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was Lois again.
That was New 52 Lois. Well,
Still Lois.
no, regular Lois still exists at the same time.
Look, Williamson's taking a beating on here lately. However, I'm reading the Solicit, and I just got excited. So
You fool. You're going to be
Yeah?
so disappointed.
Yes.
This is how he gets you. The start of every arc.
Huh? Yo, look, you're giving me Time Trapper and Superwoman Lois? Come on.
20 seconds ago, you were going, "Oh, Superwoman Lois."
No, I didn't do that. Pete did that. I didn't mind. I don't mind Superwoman Lois. I thought that Superwoman book was great, but it also transitioned to a Lana Lang Superwoman thing. That was a very
They've
fun
really been desperate for Superwoman over the last few years, haven't they?
book. Mm-hmm. So, but yes.
Wonder Woman 14, new arc beginning. Still Tom King that was run, of course, with Daniel Sampier back on art after the 3 issues of tie-in issues. So,
Yeah.
cool. Wonder Woman Uncovered issue 1, which I'm assuming is a selection of covers. Yep.
Yeah.
Action Comics 1070. So this is actually notable because this is shipping weekly just for October. This is...
Is it definitely just for October?
The weekly part is for sure, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anything that mentioned like how long it was weekly for.
Yeah, I think it's just for October, and I'm also assuming that the teams on this is just for October. I kind of hope I'm wrong though, because I actually really like the fact that Mark Waid's on Action Comics, but it's Mark Waid doing the main story and Mariko Tamaki doing the backup, so that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned on writers.
Is that Mon-El on the cover?
That looks like Mon-El. I've seen a Mon-El.
Count me in.
Yeah. Clayton Henry, unfortunately, on art, which I'm not.
Oh, Mon-El's gonna have a massive forehead.
Tamaki's backup's a Supergirl story as well.
Hey, let's go.
So
With Skylar Patridge too. That's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So actions and nice hands for October seemingly. So yeah, that's weekly in October for 4 issues. Then we have Nightwing 119. With their new team starting, because obviously Taylor's final issue was just before this, so yes, Matt, why are you laughing?
Because if there's any way to get Connor to read a book, you put this team together, and it just happens to be on Nightwing, which is a book he was already gonna read.
Well,
yeah, I was gonna read this book anyway, but I do like this team.
Yeah, so we have Dan Waters writing, and we have, of course, famously from a Red Hood book fame, is Dexter Soy.
Hey, he was the one good thing about that book for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor goes, I hate what I'm reading, but it looks so pretty.
So
Yeah.
there's a selection of covers here as well, of course. The main one's quite good. It's I mean, honestly, like, I've loved Taylor's run. It's been like an all-timer kind of Nightwing run for me. So this has got a lot to live up to, but it's definitely an interesting set of names. I'm definitely, like, Dan Waters, I mean, I don't think he's done like a main ongoing superhero book at DC. He's done, minis, he's done short stories and things like that, but I don't think he's taken a character's main book before.
His backups that have centered around like Bat characters, like the side ones. So he's done some Azrael. He did some of the cast stuff.
He's done quite a bit of Azrael stuff.
Yeah,
he had a couple of minis.
I really like that. So
yeah, it feels like if Taylor's been promoted from Nightwing to Detective, it feels like Dan Waters has been promoted from those stories to Nightwing.
It's like smaller Bat family to main Bat family.
Yes.
Kind of.
It feels like hockey where you start off in the the rookie league and now this is the AHL.
Yeah.
So
I saw some people on Twitter are complaining saying that they put like a team of nobodies on this book, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
To who?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Dan Waters is okay. Sure, he's not as big a name as some of the others that were, Tom Taylor, for example, like he's taken over, but he's by no means like a no name at this point. And Dexter Sawyer has been around at DC for years.
I mean, at one point, Tom Taylor was a name that people would go, who? And now he, people come after him stupidly online for nothing. You know what I mean? So, just let the... anyways.
Yeah.
Dan Waters did that Dark Side special, right? The King of Hell?
Ooh,
is that him?
Maybe.
Yeah, that was really good, too.
That sounds vaguely right. Yeah, so there you go. New Nightwing run kicking off with issue 119 in October. We have Harley Quinn 44, which is written by Elliot Killan and art by Mindy Lee. That sounds like a completely new team to me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
The writer has come from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh boy,
that's an interesting pull. Okay.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
In the not too distant future, Nixon the AD. No one else know the lyrics to the theme song. Okay.
Do not.
All right.
It's interesting that that's notably a comedy writer that they've got on this book.
Yeah.
This is the important thing to take away from that, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a smart move for Harley. Unless you're trying to do a more serious Harley story like a Harleen or something like that, that probably is the right.
But for this sort of mainline book, yeah, comedy writer works, I think, in theory.
Yep. Poison Ivy's continuing with G. Willow Wilson and
Takara on art.
Remember when this was a 6-issue mini at one point?
Yeah.
It just does not end anymore.
Yeah, well, no, let's be honest. This is still going because a lot of perverts buy all the variants, and it keeps it making a lot of money.
No, I don't. I mean, yeah, perverts.
Yeah. Helps that it's a really good book as well, though.
It does. Like, yeah, it's...
Yes.
That version cover, I just
I haven't seen it yet.
Keep them
Matt, my God.
When you're reading your issue of Poison Ivy, Matt, do you put on like a pair of like gloves, like an auctioneer's pair of gloves to sort of preserve
Not
it?
anymore, because they get in the way.
So you raw dog it?
Yeah. God damn it. Walked right into that one.
Sometimes I'm just a little proud of myself.
You should be.
Catwoman 69. We have
nice.
Okay, Toran Grumbeck. That's my best attempt at that. And Fabian Mascolo on the art. It's a new team here on Catwoman, because I did not recognize either of those names.
I've seen the Grumbeck name, but that might have just been in All Winter as one of the characters. It's a very Viking. It's a very Viking name.
Been working at Marvel for a few years. She's written some Thor. Yeah, I know. And I think she's written some of the Jane Foster Valkyrie stuff, and then a few other bits pieces. Enough that I've read a handful of at least issues of her stuff, and I don't have any like strong impressions, but I don't remember hating any of it, which is a good start.
Yeah, so apparently someone tries to assassinate Selena Kyle, and this is about her sort of trying to figure out who's launching a manhunt against her. Or a woman hunt. That's not really a term, I guess. Green Lantern 16, Jeremy Adams, still on the book, thankfully. It makes sense because it was still a pretty young run, but I guess I was a little bit worried if they were refreshing things that this might have got hit, but it didn't.
Keeping Zamanica on art as well.
Yeah, also good. Also good. In fact, probably the one benefit of having the books tie into the event for a couple of months is that it's letting all the regular artists get ahead. So that's the one plus to that. Speaking of Green Lantern, though, we have Green Lantern Civil Core Special issue 1. One shot by two interesting writers. So Jeremy Adams, who's writing the main Green Lantern book, and Philip Kennedy Johnson as the other writer listed here. That's cool, because obviously he's been doing War Journal, which is coming to an end with the next issue.
This feels like it might follow up on some of that stuff, because
I can see that.
Tharos and all that, and the Dark Star Reign. Like there's obviously it talks about Jon Stewart, so there's enough in here that makes me think it's going to follow up some of those threads. Yeah,
I've got a feeling, because it says here it'll launch the Green Lanterns into a direction that'll change DC forever, blah blah blah. I suspect that the next Solicits might have a new Green Lantern book or two announced.
I think we might get Green Lantern Corps, and I think, judging from the fact that Philip Kennedy Johnson's on this, I think we can expect him on another Green Lantern book following.
I wouldn't be surprised. Green Arrow 350, which, by the way, confirms that my legacy numbering that I worked out for this is correct. It's correct.
Pat yourself on the back.
I went and checked it when I saw this.
So you're going to be reading this, Pete, to celebrate?
It's still Williamson, so no, you can go F yourself, Matt, and you can read it.
That said, though, it's Williamson's last issue, and it mentions Chris Condon, who, by the sounds of it, is taking over the book from the following issue.
Yeah.
Get ready for the opening chapter of Emerald Archer's next adventure from writer Chris Condon, who has an Enfield Gang Massacre.
And Montos is doing the art with him. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll read the second story in this.
Yes, that was my plan.
Yes.
I think Montas is an interesting choice for Green Arrow.
It's
I
interesting.
think it'll work out.
Wait, is this just like, does he just really like green because he was doing Green Lantern before? So he's like,
Maybe he's only got green pens.
he's
I
just,
think he's gonna change up the mood over there at Green Arrow. So
Yeah,
let's do it.
Bizarrely, though, there is another Williamson Green Arrow issue to talk about because there's the annual that's also coming out in October by
A
Williamson.
week later, so we think we're double Williamson, but he goes, "Haha, I got you."
Yeah.
Always more Williamson.
Yep. Flash 14. Unfortunately, Cy Spurrier's still on the book with
He
So I-
had a lot of fun on Twitter joking
I was gonna
about
say,
it.
you know what? If I was enjoying this more, which I'm still gonna keep reading Flash because I've
can't
Red
drop
Hooded
books.
this. Yeah, I can't. I need to know what's happening. Yeah, Spurrier has had the most fun of this. Of like, I hope I can live up to the previous team. You know, it's so funny. So
So the one sort of casualty of these refreshes that I kind of encountered that kind of bummed me out is that Taylor's not on Titans, because Titans issue 16
yeah,
is John Layman with Pete Woods on art. Obviously, I'll still give it a try. Like, I'm not just instantly mad,
Yeah.
but it's a shame. I was hoping Taylor would have a Nightwing length run on in Titans. So
I would say there's two possibilities. Is either he's got another book that's not announced yet because it's part of the next wave, or in the same way that they're like weekly shipping Action, maybe they're planning on occasionally weekly shipping Detective or even just double shipping it. And so he's freeing up his time ready for that.
I could see that. I definitely think there's a good chance that the reason why he's off Titans is because he's got another book that's going to be announced in the month or two after.
I will say though, I haven't seen John Layman writing in a while, so
Yeah.
it'll be cool to see how
It's
this
been a
is.
while.
Yeah, so hopefully it's still good. I've liked how Titans has felt like it's an important book at DC recently. So it'd be a shame if that kind of simmers and goes off, but hope for the best. So here's an interesting new team, actually. This is a positive one. Williamson's off a book. So Batman and Robin 14 is going to be by Philip Kennedy Johnson and art by Javier Fernandez. So I would never have predicted Johnson going to Batman and Robin as his next ongoing
I'm
book.
here for it though.
No, but it sounds great.
So I just remember because I went back at the end of War World and I was reading back through some of the stuff, and I had forgotten he had done it was the daughter of Batman and Talia as one of the main villains at the end of Action Comics. So it feels like, not necessarily this will tie into all of that, but he does have a tie there to Damian and stuff.
It's kind of funny though that he's doing Batman and Robin, and we're speculating that he might be on a Green Lantern core book of some kind. He's basically just Tomasi and Gleason about 15 years ago.
It's true. It's very true.
Then we got Birds of Prey 14. This is one that's untouched. It's the start of a new arc, which also pleased me to see that we're not just winding down on the book.
Well, I think the thing is that pretty much all the start and new arcs this month. That's the whole all-in thing.
Well, fair. But I guess what I'm saying is that I thought, with Kelly on a different book, maybe they'd wrap this up. Or
No, you're probably getting to at least 20 issues at this point.
I suspect so, given that this is 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Nice to see that going. Batman.
Did you see that?
Oh.
Did you see that Batgirl cover?
Of Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
I did not.
That was nice.
Yeah. So the red background. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Pete's favorite will be the one after it, though.
You're mean.
That's super anime.
That's not anime. That's chibi.
I mean, that's
okay.
That's anime to me.
See?
That's completely different.
Yeah, see, he's a mark.
I'm sorry, but they are two completely different styles.
They all look the same to me. Oh, that sounded bad.
That sounds very bad, Matt. Why do you think that? Oh dear. Batman Brave and the Bold 18. It's got a Jeremy Adams story in it, as well as Christian Ward. So
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got Batman Superman World's Finest 32. This is Mark Waid with Adrian Gutierrez on
From
there.
Blue Beetle. So that's exciting. That means seems like Wade was reading Blue Beetle. I was like, hey, give me this artist. I don't know if that's how it went down. That's how I thought it went down.
But sure. Yeah. Obviously, he's on Action as well alongside this, so plenty of weight still coming October. Power Girl 14, still Leah Williams.
Wow, that's still going. I'm shocked.
Shazam 16, so that's still going with Josie Campbell and Lupacino on that.
Yeah.
So
I like that book, but I'm also shocked that's going as well. Like Shazam books tend to not live this long.
I'm also pleasantly surprised because it's not been as good as when Wade was on it, but it's been really solid. I've been really enjoying it still.
So that's one of those things where we're just gonna be like, we'll not keep bringing this up and just like Josie Campbell keep writing. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna bring up that this is going because I'm enjoying what's going on, and it looks like Freddy on the cover is back in his Captain Marvel Jr. costume.
Yeah, but that's a variant though, so that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a thing.
It does mention Freddy's new powers in the
fair enough.
in the solicit text.
Okay, well, I'm here for that.
Yeah, sure. I know no complaints. And I know Josie Campbell's been doing the tie-in to that Superman animated show comic, but I'm hoping when that's wrapped up that.
Oh, I think she writes on that show as well.
No, she does. Yeah. But I'm saying that I hope when that wraps up, she gets another book at DC.
Yeah.
We got Batman: The Long Halloween, the last Halloween issue too. Obviously, this popped up last Solicits. I'm here for this, good or bad. I can't wait to dig into
Different
this.
artist every issue. Klaus Janson this time.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Not gonna be mad at that. Not gonna be mad at that.
And then here's the other big new announcement, actually. So this is a little separate from, the end universe. I mean, I guess this will probably still be in continuity per se, but it's a story of the early days. We've got a new Year One comic starting, and that is Batman and Robin Year One by Mark Waid, which is already a plus, and then Chris Samney on art, which seems like a. Well,
Samney's the real draw for me.
I mean, they were a great fit together on Daredevil.
So if Daredevil's red Batman, does that make when Samney drives Batman, is he blue Daredevil?
Well, it depends, it depends if he's got the blue variant or not. If he's black and grey, then I guess you got to call him.
Yeah.
He looks black and grey on that cover, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
but this is very exciting. This news came out pretty early in the week.
Which it doesn't mention it here, but I'm pretty sure when the announcement came out, it said 12 issues. So what I say?
That it was a maxi.
It was 12. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then something else for Matt because he wants more Poison Ivy.
So I didn't know about this, and now I'm beyond stoked.
Yeah,
man.
Poison Ivy, Swamp Thing, Feral Trees. This appears to be a one-shot, 48 pages. It's G. Willow Wilson with Mike Perkins on the art. So you got a Swamp Thing veteran.
And it sounds like they're doing a horror story.
Yeah.
Hell, even I may read this just because it sounds
also,
good.
Some of those covers are gorgeous. The second cover in particular.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That one's great.
Yeah, I don't know what it says about me that the sexy lady that isn't a draw, but the monster is like, yeah, give it to me.
Look, and if you're like me, you just you like both. Give me monsters and give me the pretty lady.
And just to sort of wrap up some things here, we have Multiverses, Collision Detection, a few issues of that by Brian Q. Miller, who I would love to be on a regular book again, but
how has he been locked down on this ship for so long?
I know, because he was doing Smallville comics for like years at one point. Yeah. It's so weird.
Maybe he just has a really good day job, and he writes because for fun,
I just give him a fun little book that's not like this weird.
Has he had a mainline book since his Batgirl?
I don't think so. Not at DC. Definitely not at DC.
Yeah, I meant at DC.
And that's 15 years now. Well, since it ended, probably more like 14, but still.
Yeah.
DC Horror Presents issue 1. This is written by the Bullet brothers and David Dasmalkian, who I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's the guy from Late Night with the Devil. You've seen him in a bunch of movies. In fact, he's in The Dark Knight actually for a relevant
in The Dark Knight
one.
And he's in Ant-Man. Well, 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's also in Suicide Squad, the newer
Suicide
one.
Squad?
Yeah,
he's Polka Dot Man.
Yes. So, yeah.
Cool.
It's a horror book. A few horror books.
This one's an anthology. This one.
Yes. Yeah. And then you got DC Horror Presents Creature Commandos issue 1, which is also David Dasmalkian.
Dasmalkian. Aye. Pretend the T's not there.
and Jesus Hervas on the art. And then we have Green Lantern Dark issue 1, written by
This
Tate.
is possibly the most exciting thing in the solicits for me.
Okay, written by Tate Brombal and art by Weather's Originals. No, Weather del Idera.
Yeah. So Tate Bromball's been doing a lot of stuff with Tom Taylor in the Something's Killing the Children universe, and he's been working on.
Wait, Tom Taylor?
Oh, sorry, Tynan.
I was going to say that's not Taylor.
I was wait, what did I miss?
It's because I was reading down the solicits and saw Tom Taylor's name. So with Tynan, he's been working on a lot of that, and a lot of Tynan's like creator-owned stuff. He's actually been given to Brombal to work on the oddly pedestrian life of Christopher something. Whatever, it's a long title, but it's a good solid book. Brombal's been on that, and Werther Delandra's been on a lot of that as well. So I'm very excited for this.
I mean, you know, I'm into a post-apocalyptic Black Label / Elseworld Green Lantern story. Like that sounds fun. I didn't really know the names, the creators involved, but it's 7 issues, bi-monthly,
double-sized.
Yep. So that's like 14 issues worth of stuff over. Oh, actually, over about that many months. Actually, it's just releasing every other month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Tangent universe too. Because it's
yeah.
version of Green Lantern. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it says at the bottom of the solicits.
Oh, cool. I was saying, it looked like the Tangent universe Green Lantern. So being all post-apocalyptic, I thought they were just maybe taking liberties with the look of it all. But yeah, it also mentions Solomon Grundy's Undead Army, which sign me up, please.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this seems pretty good.
Yeah, weird little like sort of thing no one was expecting, but
yeah.
Sounds like it'll space up the whatever week it's on with something a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age, issue 5. So which has been surprisingly solid. Nothing like we were discussing last week with issue 2. It's not what any of us expected it to be at all, but certainly interesting.
It looks like it might be getting more towards what we were expecting, judging by this cover.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I got to go back and read that second issue. I didn't get caught up on that one, so.
Yeah. Things get even weirder, Matt.
Perfect.
Then Dark Knights of Steel All Winter issue 4. Look out for that. Speaking of sequels to these Elseworld things, we got DC versus Vampires World War V issue 3. That rhymes. Also, I can't see World War V without thinking about the boys because of Gen V and all that stuff.
That makes sense.
But yes, so cool. And then we got Batman Full Moon issue 1.
I didn't see this. What the hell's this?
Let's go.
It's a werewolf in the cover.
Batman werewolf?
So it's Rodney Barnes writing with Steven Subic on the arts. 4 issues.
I'm guessing that's Subic.
Subic, yeah. It's a 4-issue book. I'll just read the description since everyone's so interested. An ancient and supernatural force stalks the streets of Gotham City. A Lycan so powerful that it'll defy Batman's most trusted resources, his brilliant mind and extensive gadgetry. Gadgetry.
Gadgetry.
But are Batman's physical strength and resilience alone enough to put the creature down for good? Or will this fight strip him down to his very bones? Even powerful magical allies like Zatanna caution that Bruce may not walk away from this unscathed. So yes, Batman versus a werewolf.
Sold.
It's as straightforward as it sounded based on that cover, but...
Hey, but that cover is gorgeous.
Yes, yeah, black and white cover with just Batman
I hope it's a black and white book.
I love werewolves. I tolerate Batman. I am here for this.
I tolerate Batman, says the man who's been reading multiple Batman books for 8 years.
Yeah, that's me tolerating.
Oh, dear.
Look, I'm just saying, when I was challenged to name my favorite Batman, I made a top 5 without including Bruce Wayne. I'm just saying.
Some fun covers for this as well. Like, I mean, obviously the main one's fantastic, but the other ones all look really good too.
The 4th cover I really like. It looks like an old pulpy,
And the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks like the cover you'd get on an issue of Batman in the 70s.
And then there's a Francavilla one with the shadows of Batman and the wolf on the wall. That also looks great. Oh geez, Nice House by the Sea issue 4. Obviously, we're looking forward to that. I mean, issue 4.
Yeah.
That must mean we're getting to issue 1 soon, based on the time frame of Solicits. Plastic Man No More issue 2. I forgot this was a thing. So much stuff in this Solicits, but
Me too.
cool.
Pleasantly surprised to see Campwell's name there because I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, that's issue 2 of 4. Jenny Sparks issue 3. That's your next. Tom King takes a smaller character and gives them the mini treatment. And then Zatanna Bringing Down the House issue 5, which is the final issue of that miniseries coming in October. We got John Constantine Hellblazer Dead in America issue 10. Nothing says a good title like well, okay, technically it's not 2 colons, one's a comma, but it's the same thing. Okay.
Yes.
It's still just as awkward to say.
Connor, is there a reason they can't just call him Hellblazer?
No, I think they did do a Hellblazer. They tried to do a Hellblazer and it just didn't sell as well. So they put the John Constantine name on it. I think it's after the show, and then he was showing up a lot in the CW shows.
Gotcha.
I think just name recognition meant that they sold more with his name than without it.
So I'm saying, just calling this Hellblazer Dead in America might have been the move, but if it's sales,
I think so. And now they've just decided to stick with it because why risk it?
That makes sense.
Yeah. My Adventures with Superman issue 5. That's that Josie Campbell book that's tying into the animated show. And then there's DC from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives issue 4, which is this weird like alternate history thing they're doing. And then we got some facsimile editions: Batman 237, Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 7, Hawkman 4, then Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries 10, Scooby-Doo Where Are You 130, and that takes us on to the collections. We got Sandman, the Complete Shakespeare Collection, which is just 96 pages, so whatever that is.
It's strange. There's a couple of issues with Shakespeare in, and like a couple with his plays that they use. So
okay,
it's just kind of those. It's a weird collection, but okay.
Teen Titans Go on TV. There's Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night. This was the thing that was coming out from Jeff Parker last Christmas season. So
that was fun. I liked it.
It makes sense to kind of hold this until it's just before Christmas time.
It's coming out around end of November. It's a perfect time for it.
Yeah. Red Hood Outlaws 3, Volume 3. Connor's.
I think this is that Webtoons one. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
22. So Connor, what's this book like?
I don't know. I didn't have the misfortune.
Okay. Well, you guys heard him.
But I'm going to say on a limb, probably better than Red Hood and the Outlaws was for a decade.
Batman Detective Comics Volume 4, Gotham Nocturne, Intermezzo, Batman Outlaw. Okay, that's too many. That's too many different parts of a title.
That
was 3 colons.
3 colons and a comma. Jesus Christ. All right.
It's like 3 Men and a Baby, but for wordsmiths.
Nightwing Volume 6, Standing on the Edge.
What cover?
Yeah, Taylor's next thingamajig. And then you got Superman Volume 3, Justice Reborn.
That is not what a cover.
I don't remember one of the arcs been called Justice Reborn. Was that is that what they called one of those arcs with Williamson?
This looks like this is this arc we just started this.
Yeah, it's Absolute Power must be. Yeah.
Ah. Fair enough.
Hell, they're soliciting that fast, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Wonder Woman Volume 2, Sacrifice. That's Tom King's Volume 2. Flash Volume 2, Until Time Stands Still. That's Spurrier's run. Harley Quinn Volume 2, I Don't Like Me. Again, just next volume. The Witching Hour 2024 edition. This is Jeff Loeb with Chris Bacallo and Art Thibbert. I don't know. I don't think I'm familiar with this, actually, to be honest.
It's a Vertigo
book. Vertigo mini.
DC's Finest Catwoman Lifelines.
The hell is in that?
Couple of different miniseries.
Catwoman Year One. It says following in the footsteps of Batman Year One, witness the birth of a legend. So
yeah, but it's like 1 to 4 of Catwoman, then 1 to 12 of another Catwoman book, and then
an annual, and then a Batman Catwoman issue, and then stories from Action Comics Weekly and Showcase Night. Wow, that's a mess of a trade, that.
I mean, I'm going to assume that the main Year 1 story is just the 1 to 12 book. and
Yeah.
everything else is just sort of supplemental. Like we might as well throw this in as well. Obviously, it's related, but I imagine the actual year 1 story is just the 1 to 12. I could be wrong though. People can.
I don't think it was ever published as Catwoman Year 1 though, so I think they're just cashing in.
I mean, to be fair, they're not calling it that in the trade either. They're just calling it Lifelines. But
yeah. So they can save it for an actual Year 1.
Yeah, they can just do it down the line when they want to. DC's Finest, Justice League of America, The Bridge Between Earths. This is a soft cover with some late 1960s stories. So cool. DC's Finest, Green Lantern, The Defeat of the Green Lantern again. So I think these are Silver Age.
The Silver Age, smaller collections in the giant books, but it's still like
it's 600
pages. Yeah.
Pretty hefty.
I feel like define smaller.
Yeah, this seems like the sort of thing where if you want to be like actually reading all of the runs, then these are probably bad choices. But if this is just like a big taster, admittedly, but if you just want to give someone like a taster,
I think these are the whole runs. I think there's probably a first volume of each of these because what it's collecting is all in order.
Okay, I didn't realize because they weren't numbered. It just says Defeat a Green Lantern.
So the Justice League one collects 45 to 72. Green Lantern is 19 to 39.
Sure. Yeah.
An issue of Flash and Brave and the Bold.
I honestly didn't realize they were doing like a new run of these older stories. But they're doing 0 Hour Part 1, which is the first half of all that stuff.
Jesus, look at that mess.
It's a lot of different issues. Well, a lot of different series.
I have a name.
Sorry, Matt.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm not even listing all these. There's a Flash one, there's a Legion of Superheroes one, and there's another GSA one. So
that Legion though is the first of the modern Legion. That was when Jim Shooter took it over as a fan. So if you wanted to start the Legion as we kind of know it now, this would be a nice jumping on.
Superman Kryptonite Deluxe Edition, Darwin Cook and Tim Sale. New hardcover edition of that.
That makes me sad because both of those guys are gone.
But the work lives on.
Elseworld Superman Volume 2, new printing. Death and Return of Superman 30th Anniversary Collection. Superman Volume 1 Supercorp softcover. Batman by Tom King Book 1. So they're doing 600-page softcovers of that run. So
and there you go. Ganin's on that run as well as one of the main artists.
Yes. That's not Snyder, that's King.
No, he was on some. I thought he was definitely on some of the Snyder stuff.
He was, yeah. I remember being on that, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying earlier. I feel like I've got a lot of mainline Batman already out of him. I would have liked someone fresh.
But have you gotten it written by Tom Taylor?
Well, if you ask some people, not yet.
All right, Batman, Bruce Wayne, murderer turned fugitive omnibus. Okay, that's funny to me because they've always been collected as separate chapters. So there's always Batman, Bruce Wayne, murderer, and then there's fugitive volumes, usually 1 through 3. I think was the original collection.
God, look at how many pages that is.
Yeah, it's an omnibus. Yeah,
I know, but even for an omnibus, that's still.
Keep in mind if you buy that, what's his name? Failsafe, not Kill Switch. It's a different guy. Failsafe will come after you.
It's 1,100 or so pages. That's not too bad. I think up to 1,200 is okay. It's a bit thick. Don't get me wrong, but this is nothing like that Teen Titans by John's omnibus.
Oh, that's 1,600 or whatever it was. Yeah, that was stupid.
You could, if you swung this at somebody, make yourself a murderer turned fugitive.
Yeah.
My go-to example has always been you could kill a horse with that.
Yeah.
I've never actually read through the fugitive
me neither. I should probably
or era, whatever you want to
when
call
you get
it.
this omnibus and then put yourself through all 1,100 pages.
That's probably every week I talk to Connor when he's on the show. It gets me a little bit closer to wanting to sign up for the DC
this will be on there.
Yeah, it should already be on there, right? Because they just
the trades already will be.
Yeah. So
when it comes to digital books, like them reprinting a new like format doesn't really change the digital that much. So you're not really missing out on anything.
So with this specifically, it's never existed as an omnibus before. So it's because this isn't a reprint. Right. So this collection won't be on there yet. So, but what will be on there is the individual softcover trades that have already collected these separately. But once this is out, after like a month, they will add that omnibus version as well because they have. in each like series, when you're on the app, there is the single issues, there's the collected trades, and the omnibus is all listed separately, so to make it easy to find which massive version you want to jump into.
Right.
Okay. Batman the Cult 2024 edition. A lot of collections this month as well. Dark Knights of Steel Volume 2, softcover. Deathstroke the Terminator by Marv Wolfman Omnibus Volume 1. Oh, that's that's 900 pages, that one.
That's a good size for an omnibus, that.
Sure. So that's your classic Deathstroke stuff. I'll be honest, I don't think I realized there was so much just like, because obviously Wolfman did a lot of stuff with Deathstroke and Teen Titans and stuff like that. I don't think I realized there was such a long Deathstroke run from that time period. So interesting. Injustice Gods Among Us Compendium 1.
This is worse than the Omnis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I take it back.
1,000-page hardcover with nice sewn binding, perfectly fine. 1,000-page softcover where the spine's just going to crease the first time you read it.
Unreadable.
And it looks like, isn't it a little bit bigger than normal too? Because it says it's 6 5/8 by 10 by 3/16. So
that's the normal softcover size.
Is that normal softcover?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not even a little bit bigger to help out.
No, this is the same compendium. I think it's the compendiums that Kirkman kind of popularized with his.
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead and the Invincible compendiums. They're about this size because they're about 50 issues in each one.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever saw anything like that in a softcover. Multiversity Harley Screws Up the DCU softcover. Joe the Barbarian 2024 edition. This is a Grant Morrison book. I remember this existing. I never read it, but I'm familiar with it.
He doesn't look like a barbarian.
Just keep reading.
Outsiders Volume 1, that's the current Outsiders book. Collecting the first 6 issues. I got Poison Ivy Volume 4, Origins of the Species, obviously the current run. Suicide Squad Dream Team, which is obviously that mini-series that's been just wrapping up, I think. Or is it still going? It might still be going.
I think it finished because it was a lead into Absolute Power.
Absolute Promethea Book 1. This is Alan Moore.
Well, he's going to hate that.
Yeah, he probably will hate that.
You could basically say that with a lot of things, but especially reprinting his old work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that finally wraps up the Solicits. That was a lot of that. Usually the collection section is not nowhere near as long as that.
Collection section.
Yeah, just some extra bits. Obviously, we mentioned a lot of books in there.
Yeah.
But we know there's still more books to be announced because there are a lot of creators tweeting, hey, I've got all in stuff coming.
Yes.
But they tweeted that out before these Solicits, and we were all thinking, oh, maybe they're in there. And then they weren't. One of the big notable ones is Rambi. So we know he's got a book coming. It's just not this month.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. I feel like he's one of those big writers at DC now, and after doing a detective run, I suspect he will be on something. Maybe even a couple of things, depending.
We can hope.
I think probably not as much. I'm only expecting one because he tends to do a couple of creator-owned things at the same time. I know he had a kid in the last couple of years that slowed down his work. Like he put other things in. Yeah, it's kind of fairly slowed down his work rate.
That's just inconsiderate.
It is, yeah.